Thank you so much, Stefan, for having me. Indeed, I was part of the experts who attended the conference. And when one looks at the diversity of the participants, which included bishops from SECAM and Germany, as well as experts who accompanied the SECAM bishops, I can safely say the study was well received. Allow me also to say that the presenter, Professor Valaha, did a sterling job on the study summary, as well as the moderator, Dr. Heike, right? I am not so sure why the Imbisa bishops did not participate, but I think this was an important study. More so because the studies focus or insights on energy transition, on mobility transition, and change in on consumption and the transition in agriculture. These focus areas were very, very important, especially when you look at at Africa as a continent. So the SECAM bishops really welcomed the study results, and hence they showed their interest in participating in the conference. African bishops will definitely benefit from the study results, particularly on energy transition, through the identification of opportunities and challenges Africa has for energy transition, and what must be done to realize a net zero emissions as a measure to mitigate future impacts of climate change on the continent, right? And the reduction also of the costs that are involved for adaptation. They are quite high. So yeah, I mean, this study, I guess that's the reason why the SECAM bishops really were interested and keen to follow up, and participate during the conference. Also related to mobility transition discussions, actually touched on transitioning from fossil fuel to electric cars, which in my opinion is an ambition, not too easy for Africa as a continent, because currently is struggling with public transport. And we see more and more of individuals buying cars, and most of the cars that they buy are second-hand cars. I think during the conference, I even alluded to the point that Africa seems to be a dumping ground where all second-hand used cars are brought into Africa, which again brings another problem, another challenge, as we talk about climate change impacts. And then regarding agriculture transition, I think it's given that Africa will definitely benefit from it. And because at the moment, Africa is struggling with production. And that has seen her become a net importer of food from outside the continent. Generally, the discussions were very, very informative and very fruitful, although, I mean, it also showed that a lot of people did not read deeper into the study to contribute constructively on issues, on key issues, which one would expect. As such, you find out that most of the contributions were kind of general contributions coming especially from some of the participants. I don't want to pinpoint a certain group of people, but they were kind of general points coming in during the discussions. I expected much more. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks for these open words.
And just before I conclude, is during the program, the way it was crafted, in the afternoon, we're supposed to have a discussion on chapter 5 of the research, which talks about the role of the church, right? And, that chapter really raised some very pertinent issues. But, during the conference, we just touched on it just briefly, and I think we could have done much more. And I don't know why really people ended up going back to the focus areas on energy, on mobility and agricultural transition, and rather talk about, the role of the church. First and foremost, I would like to say that my study concluded that support to small-scale farmers is critical, as it helps them to move from subsistence strategies to more commercial production. Support also helped to strengthen the stronger farmers, most of whom were members of organized groups, while also tending to leave out the weak farmers that are located in unfavorable areas that are inaccessible. Now talking about the specific support that the German public or various NGO and religious groups could give to small-scale farmers or smallholder farmers, as they are called. I made some recommendations in my study, and I can share that with you, that the specific support should take advantage of and promote farmers' capacities to make meaningful decisions. Not that decisions are forced down their throat, let me put it that way, but really to support them, build on what they are doing, and also to make meaningful decisions on what they want to do. Secondly, to build on resources and capacities available at local level, and that highlights low-cost strategies and efficient water use management. I realized that small-scale farmers are already doing something along those lines. And when support is provided, it should build on those capacities and those resources that are available at the local level, and not bringing in something completely different or something that is alien to what they are already doing. Support also should stimulate financially attractive options for diversification, because my study also observed that, diversification of production, of income sources was one key area which made farmers be able to cope effectively with crisis. So to stimulate financially attractive options for diversification would be one way to support small-scale farmers in Africa. And to also further develop existing market opportunities rather than creating new ones. There is a tendency of wanting to create new market opportunities, when in actual fact there are existing market opportunities, existing marketing opportunities that, if they are developed further, they will benefit more to the local small-scale farmers, help them also even to move from subsistence farming to commercial farming. And lastly, to take into account the regional and individual specifics in order to tailor actions appropriately. So these are some of the recommendations that I felt I can share with you, and they relate to specific support that should be provided to small-scale farmers in Africa and in Zimbabwe in particular.